viewers, Casey Cyber Beauty channel. So today's video I'm going to be talking about some traveling tips and advice to travel overseas for the first time. I'm going to be going over a couple of tips and sharing that with you, of course, and a couple of advice along the way. And this will definitely prepare you if you want to travel and visit family for the holidays this year, whether you're planning on visiting family or friends, or whether you're just wanting to get a jump start on the new year in 2021. So you can definitely use these tips. Please stay tuned and keep watching because I do have an upcoming announcement towards the end of the video. All right, we'll get into it. Okay, guys. So tip number one. So with it comes to traveling, you definitely want to make sure that you have your passport. Passport is very essential, but you also want to make sure that you not only have this in this kind of order, chronic order, where you want to have your passport, you want to get it with a travel agent, and then you definitely want to ask for insurance and plans and premiums that come with it. Definitely you want to travel if you're looking for a cheap ticket or a ticket to actually get you to the country you want to go to. This is probably the best time of the year, which is around the fall or even around getting close to winter, early spring. And those months are essentially from November all the way to March. The reason why those are off season, it's not as tourist, it's not as crowded, and it's not as expensive. So if you're wanting a trip to probably go to Europe or wanting to go overseas for the first time and you don't want to break the bank, this is probably like the great time to start planning and booking your trip. Even if you don't go this year, you guys, because I know we're probably going into a setback with COVID, and I'm not urging anybody to travel at this time, but this is the perfect time to want to plan for the future for 2021, or even if you want to plan another year from now, that'll even be cheaper. If you definitely want to do that, I definitely urge you to do so because it's even less expensive. It's not as difficult, and you might have a little bit better of a time going in those off seasons of those months that I mentioned. So I did wanted to tell you that. I definitely will say that it is a little bit cheaper if you're planning for the first time. You definitely want to get up with a travel agent that actually can give you some kind of guidance, but you want to tell them what you want and what your budget is. If you tell them all those information, they can definitely get you something that's a little bit within your package and also get you something that you're really wanting so that we can enjoy your trip. Essentially, if you're going to actually plan a trip and this is your first time, make sure that you get everything in order when you do go to another country. And these are why I'm giving these tips, because essentially this will help you anytime you make another trip or you plan something else, you will have everything. With that being said, you definitely want to get insurance with your actual package. You can actually get it separate, just with the airport and the flights, but it's probably best to get it in a bundle. Why? So that way, if something happens, like say for instance your flight delays, or let's say a storm happens while you're trying to get to the country and you don't have a place to stay, they'll put you in a hotel and you'll basically get what you're needing to get done, or you can get your bags. If something gets lost or stolen, at least you have insurance to cover, or they'll cover that expense and you get some kind of compensation or money or refund. So definitely consider that. Also, I want to put in there, if you're thinking or considering not getting insurance, get the insurance, because if you don't get the insurance, trust me, you're going to regret it, because you'll be stuck on something that didn't happen and you're hoping that everything is going to go right. Just get the insurance and you'll be fine. Like, if it's anything, not getting insurance probably mess up some things that may happen or occur on your trip and you have nothing to recover from. So try to get the insurance when you're booking these flights and booking the trip, especially with a travel agent. I do recommend getting a travel agent, especially because at this time, I do know with everything going on with COVID, you want to make sure that you do have a decent trip. Now, I'm not saying that you can't plan that since you're on your own and be cheaper, but it will be less of a headache when trying to plan. So if you don't know the country or if you've never been there before, you're probably not going to know exactly all the whereabouts or where everything is. So get it up with a travel agent and they can give you a basic detail of what hotel you're looking for, what place that you want to go to, whether you want to get some tours in. But I do recommend, do not try to book tours unless you know that you're going to get up and you're going to go to the stores, because if you don't, you're going to just waste money and you are probably not going to get that money back because that was part of your package. So I recommend, if you do decide to go on a tour, I would try to do it outside of your package instead of within your package, because it makes it, not only makes it a little bit cheaper, but at least you don't waste your money if you don't go. Or let's say you get tired that day and you don't decide to go. I always recommend, if you do decide to go on a tour, you're better off probably booking the tour yourself and then going from there, and that way you can go through their refund policy if you don't show up or you don't go, or if you decide at the last minute, okay, I'm just going to cancel it. That way you get your money back. But if you partially do it through a travel agency, 9 and 10, they may not give you that full refund because you still went, the whole booking of everything else is still in a bundle, so they may not give you a refund, or you may get a partial credit back on your next trip but not a full refund. So that's why I recommend, if you do want to go on tours, try to book them through yourself, and you're probably going to get a better deal if you do it that way. Okay, so tip number 2. So when it comes to traveling overseas, you definitely need to have some kind of money on you, of course, so you can buy souvenirs, so you can shop, so you can eat, so you can do anything that you want to do in that country as a vacation. Because that's the purpose of going on vacation. You want to have a good time, but you definitely want to have enough money to do it. For the most part, you need to check with your bank to make sure that you can actually use your credit card, debit card, or even if you want to use cash, you need to make sure that you're transferring those cash into the country of the currency that they actually have. They're not going to accept American dollars. I know some people may assume or think something along those lines, but no, they do only accept the country of the money that in. And you can definitely go to a currency exchange, and you can also have your bank do it, or you can do it at the airport. I recommend doing it at the airport because you're not walking around with money in your hand when you're not in the country or going to that country. So I recommend going to the airport. It's actually a little bit more efficient and more cheaper that way. And it's a little bit easier, so that way when you enter in the country, you have cash just in case of emergency. I always recommend taking maybe close to 500 to maybe 1,000. Now you can take 300, but you might want to put um, the larger amount. If you do put a large amount, you want to put that either on your card, or you could also carry it in cash, however you feel comfortable. But I would break it up if you do 1,000 for just in case of emergency or anything like that, or I would make sure that you have enough money on your card. Check with your bank to make sure. Not all banks do overseas charges. Sometimes they do a abundance of charges when you convert it over, and some actually don't charge as much. So it just depends on your bank, and make sure that your bank is universal, meaning that it can, if you was to go and take your card over there and you was to swipe or make a payment or buy something, that they will transfer over into the country currency. Now, another tip I will mention is that you want to let your bank or your credit card company know, for the most part, that you're leaving the country, so that way they don't think there's any false transition going through while you're leaving or while you're over there. I did this maybe a couple days. I did it a couple weeks and let my bank know, and I also did it the day before I got on the plane to let them know, and I also did it again because I wanted to make sure. Always it's better to be safe than sorry. I did it probably like 3 times just to let them know. So that way there will be no transaction, and I let them know from this point on I should be getting to Paris, France. So if you see transition, that is me. I don't want you to think that someone's fraudulent trying to take money out of my account. So do let them know, and they will. Some do have policies where they do transfer the dollars over, so you don't have to worry about the taxes. But when you do come back to the States or you come back to the US, you are going to see that exchange or that change over. So don't be shocked, because they probably will tell you that they do charge for every dollar amount or every change amount for whatever country you're in, that it is going to show up as a charge or extra charge here, extra charge there, just when you use your card. And if you want to limit that, you can always do a currency exchange when it comes to your dollars, American dollars, and change that into whatever dollar amount that you're in that country. Now, I did mention towards the end of the video, and if you did continue watching to the end of the video, I do have a small announcement. Coming into New Year 2021, I definitely will be changing some things up on my channel. So if you guys are interested in that, of course, stay tuned because that's what's going to be new coming to my channel, Miss Cyber Beauty. Okay, so I did wanted to let you know, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to this video and give it a thumbs up and share with family and friends as well. And I will see you guys on my next one. Bye.